Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening to all of you. How are you? If I was tired yesterday, today I am too tired. It happens to me that when I am really tired, I start to complain a lot about many things. Like if I'm an old guy of 88 years old, and for the rest is funny, but it's not for me. So I cannot see very well the screen because the light that I had to put today is too shiny, and I don't see anything. So I don't know if you are watching me. I see everything like anyway. So these are one of those videos that the people that think that I want to be shown like a messiah or kind of like this, you should see these videos from these days so you can tell that I am not trying to do this. Today I'm very human and I am a bit uncomfortable because my hair is today full with sand and it seems like the ass of a horse. So literally. So the topic for today is caresses. And this is related to what we do every day when we do an alignment. Every time that we do an alignment, when we finish, I say to you, now caress the body and bring all this consciousness around the body through caresses. And the reason why I say this, in case I didn't explain it for some of you before, is because in the tegumentary system, which is the skin, tegument means comes from the word tissue, which is related to something that is weaved. So this tegumentary represents all the things that hold the body, the rest of the organs. And in this system is where we have most of the information and interaction with the outside world towards the inside, sharing information from the outer reality to the central nervous system. So the brain understand what is happening outside. So the skin is kind of a communicator. Communicator between the outside and the inside. So that's why I say caress your body. So through the nerves, around the body, you can communicate and let the entire nerve system to know everything that we are working with. So the tegumentary system is the one that is constantly in connection with the outside. So everything that happens in the environment will be first connecting to the tegumentary system, the skin, before it gets connected to any part within the body. So the skin is basically the biggest organ that communicates what is happening outside into the inside. So this is why when we are trying to expand an information through the body, when we caress the body, when we bring this consciousness through the caresses in our body, what we have is a distribution throughout every one of the cells of this information we want to accept, we want to integrate in ourselves. So we have spoken that about that the five senses are the ones that bring information from the outer world so it can be processed within. So we already spoke about each one of the senses and how they work. Of course, that I am not a YouTuber. Otherwise, if I would be someone knowing how these things work, I would be in this moment saying, you can click down here and you will have the link to the videos of the senses. But I am not a YouTuber. I have no idea how this things works. So look for it, because I have no clue. So maybe you find it in the blog by the post of the dates and you will figure it out for sure. But anyway, the thing is that the senses are the way in which we absorb information through the senses. Yes. Remember that we have spoken about these five senses that are listening, hearing, the sight, smell, taste, and touch. And these five senses are the only five senses, but in other dimensions, these five senses start to expand according to the dimension where they are being experienced. So taking the information from the dimensions, you will see that the five senses, they will be experienced in different levels. So that's why it seems like if we have a sixth sense or seventh sense in another dimension, but actually are the only five senses expressed in different dimensions. Okay. So now let's understand the senses from the development. We as humans, we spend 9 months in the womb of a mother trying to be a human. So developing our physical body, emotional, everything to become a human. So, but we are not always a human. So we are basically a conjunction of cells with a soul, which means that we are a being until the 5th week of pregnancy. This means that we are a living being with emotion, because a soul has emotion. A soul is energy. And so it's a living being with cellular memory. So it has the memory in the cells. But when we do our 5th week in the womb of the mother, we start to create the first synapses. We start to create synapses. And so this means that before we were a conjunction of cells with energy, with the soul inside, but we cannot be considered a human until we have our own memory as an individual. So in the 5th week is when we start to create synapses, and we start to create our own memory as an individual inside the womb of a mother. In our cells, we already have the information of the 5 senses. And remember, the 5 senses are the ways in which you can absorb, perceive the data from the outside. Processed by what? By the neurons in the nervous system. So since the 5th week of pregnancy, the person, the human, will start to use the 5 senses to storage information for its own development as individual, as a human. So of course that when we are developing within inside, there are 4 of those senses that are not much used until we are born. A few of them, maybe you can use it a little bit, but they are not properly used until we are really born. Like, for example, when you are in the womb of the mother, you cannot perceive much light, so you don't use the sight, you don't listen much, you cannot really taste anything, and of course you cannot breathe, so you cannot smell because you are in the amniotic liquid. So what basically what a baby inside the womb uses as much is the touch, the sense of touch, which is the most used because the entire skin is the only one in constant touch of the entire environment all the time. So basically all information from the surroundings are received through the skin of the person. So when you are in the womb of the mother, when you are in the womb of the mother, you don't listen really the sounds, even if you perceive the vibration of sounds. It's not that we can hear words, because when you are inside the womb of the mother, what you can hear is kind of like when you are under diving in the water of a pool, that you can hear the things like this. And why is this? Because you're not hearing through your ear. Basically what happens is that the sound moves through the waves of water and the water touches the skin, and this vibration makes the bones vibrate, and the bones make the tiny little hammer bone resound inside. So that's how you feel it. That's how you perceive by vibration, not because of the air of outside, not because of the ear. So this means that even the sense of hearing is received through the touch when you are in the womb. This is why usually a baby doesn't relate to the world with other senses. It relates with the sense of touch by feeling the heartbeat of the mother, by feeling the heat of the skin, by feeling the sounds from within the organs. So this is why a baby needs the touch, the caresses, the hugs to feel the breathings. Because the sense of touch is the one that is the only one that the baby has in the first stages to understand the world around. So now it's important to know that when we speak about this, the first month of our life will determine the way in which we receive the information from the outer world through all our lives. The way in which we feel, touch, listen, perceive as a baby, as a child, will determine the way in which we are going to relate with others through life. So it's possible, by understanding this, that we can relate on how today we are with other people according to how has been our process of gestation, how it has been the first month after we were born. So now we have this idea in our heads. We can picture this, that if through 9 months we have been developing ourselves in the womb of the mother, absorbing the data through the skin, storing information in our brain through the nervous system, which is storing this data for our subconscious and our unconscious, the ones that we call the spirit and the soul. So this means that the spirit and the soul needed from the sense of touch in order to design who we are. The spirit and the soul are in a constant need of the sense of touch to interact with a reality. So now we can understand that everything that happens through our skin, living our lives, will be the way in which the spirit and the soul will receive the information from the environment. Remember that we have spoken some time ago that we cannot say that the spirit is within the soul, that the soul is within the body. Actually, the three of them are the same thing in different expressions. So now we can understand, for example, we can translate the spirit and the soul in a physical way so we can understand how it works. So we can understand it by saying that the nervous system is the spirit. The spirit is the nervous system. The brain with all the synapses, that's the spirit. The soul must be the endocrine system with the hormones. So the way in which the nervous system and the endocrine system work and understand what to do is because of the pulses, the electrical pulses that the skin receives from the outside. So this means that the soul and the spirit cannot understand what is happening in the reality without the interaction of the body. So now we can understand that the skin, the tegumentary system, is an extension of the heart. Extension of the heart. And the heart is the organ where the soul and the spirit find coherence, find the balance. This is why, in order to have a better relationship, much more health relationship between the soul and the spirit, in order to be coherent, we have to heal our relationship with the touch, with the skin. This is why, as I said today, caresses are the ways in which we can deliver love to our heart by touching the skin, to come back to the memory of the gestation and to rebirth from that. The word caresses comes from the Latin carus, that means the loved one, the beloved. Which comes from the Indo-European language car, that means to desire, to wish for something. which at the same time comes from the Egyptian Ka, that means intention, spiritual energy. So to charis is not only to show love to others. To charis is also to awaken the intention of the spirit in others and in yourself. So charis a little bit more yourself. So charis yourself, touch, feel the heat, hug, kiss, whatever. Just remember that this touch, the caresses, are the tool to not only come back to the harmony of the being, but also to awaken the spiritual energy in the body. And if there are people that have problems with this because of any trauma or something, just remember that there are a lot of people that study to help you with these things. So maybe you need some help. Open yourself to some therapy to acknowledge how to heal that. The vibration for today is T. I'm so tired that I cannot even read. The statement for today is I am manifested love. The code for today is Virgo. What was harvested and won after being brought to the mother's house guided by the father must be ordered to separate the wheat from the chaff. The agronomic concept of the administration of the harvest, discerning how many grains must be saved for it, how many to save for the winter, and how many to sow the next spring, was the mother's task, represented by the earth, the generous soul that is at the service of keeping the balance between the parts. Virgo is like that, the energy of the order and the discernment between good and bad. Manifested love. I am the manifested love. So as you can judge because of my face, I am not in the mood to make the alignment, and it would be really a fault of respect, a lack of respect from my side to you, to guide you in an alignment and to be guided by someone that is so unbalanced like me right now. So I will give you the task anyway for this alignment and how to do it. So go to the blog www.yosoy.red. Remember, yo soy in Spanish, I am. You go there, and below you have the music constantly playing 24 hours all the time. So you go, you listen to that when you go to bed to sleep, and you caress your body entirely from your feet till your head, all your body. See? So tomorrow I see you. Oh, thank you everybody, as always, for being here with me. And see you tomorrow at the same time as always. But this time from Aswan, because tomorrow at 4 a.m. we go to the airport to the south. So I will meet you there from Aswan. And remember, from the heart, we caress the entire body, listening to music and saying, I am manifested love. Thank you. Good night.